I used to think my parents' house smelled of safety, jasmine tea, old wood, and the faint scent of Mom's perfume clinging to the curtains. But coming back a week before my wedding, I realized it smelled more like old memories, and not all of them were kind. My name is Emily Chen. I'm 28 years old, and to most of the world, and certainly to my family, I'm just an administrative coordinator who should feel lucky she found someone like Michael Rodriguez to marry. They don't know the truth. Behind late nights and ordinary routines, I've built a multimillion-dollar consulting firm that helps businesses expand across continents. Only Michael knows, and he has always been my biggest supporter. But at my parents' house, none of that mattered. My younger sister Sophie, the shining star, ruled the conversations. She was a celebrated fashion designer, adored by my parents for her dazzling career and picture-perfect life. I had learned long ago to shrink myself in her presence. One evening, while heading upstairs, I paused outside the study. I wish I hadn't, but my name pulled me closer. Her dress will fall apart during her speech. Sophie's voice rang out, sharp and triumphant. My stomach dropped. She'll be standing there in front of 200 guests. Mom added, her tone dripping with satisfaction. Finally, everyone will see what a failure she really is. Dad chuckled softly, the sound more painful than any scolding. And Marcus will capture every moment on camera. Marcus, the family acquaintance who'd agreed to photograph the wedding. I pressed my hand against the wall to steady myself. They weren't just mocking me. They were plotting to humiliate me at my own wedding. Sophie had sabotaged my dress, and my parents were preparing a slideshow of my most embarrassing moments. For a moment, I felt crushed, the little girl inside me screaming that she'd never be good enough. But then a different voice rose inside me, the one that had negotiated mergers, saved companies, and outsmarted competitors twice my age. If they thought I was weak, they were about to discover how wrong they were. That night, I sat in my childhood bedroom, surrounded by relics of the past old trophies Sophie had thrown my way when she outshone me, framed school photos where my smile seemed forced. But my laptop glowed in front of me, connecting me to a different world. Encrypted emails, high-stakes deals, partners who respected me. My parents wanted a show. Fine, I'd give them one, but not the humiliation they expected. As I drafted my first message to Clara, my trusted business partner, a slow smile spread across my face. This wasn't the end of my story. It was just the beginning of my revenge. When I woke up the next morning, my heart still pounded with last night's revelation, but the fear had been replaced by something steadier resolve. If I could build a company from scratch, I could outmaneuver my own family. Clara answered my call instantly. "Emily, what's wrong?" "Nothing," I said with a smile. "I just need you to prepare for a reveal, a big one, at my wedding." She gasped, but she knew me well enough not to ask questions. I explained the plan. We would unveil our latest merger, a deal worth millions, during what my family thought would be my lowest moment. Instead of humiliation, I'd stand before everyone as the powerful woman they never imagined me to be. Next came the dress. I visited the seamstress Sophie had recommended. Running my fingers along the delicate stitches, I quickly spotted the weak threads. Sophie's sabotage wasn't clever, it was cruel. But cruelty has blind spots. I need your help. I whispered to the seamstress, "Can you reinforce it? And one more thing. Add a detachable layer. I want something spectacular underneath." She raised an eyebrow but agreed. Together, we designed a transformation that would turn Sophie's trick into my triumph. Meanwhile, Michael worked his magic. He met with the venue's tech team, replacing my parents' slideshow with a polished video montage of my company's achievements, disguised as a wedding tribute. I could picture it already, gasps, applause, and Sophie's face paling in shock. Marcus, however, was trickier. Digging into his history, I found skeletons, disgruntled clients, questionable ethics, scandals buried under polite smiles. A journalist we'd invited to the wedding would be very interested in those details. I sent the tip anonymously. At home, the act continued. Sophie smirked at me during dinner, her words laced with superiority. "Are you sure you can handle a wedding this big, Emily?" she teased. "Maybe just elope at City Hall." I smiled sweetly, keeping my composure. "I think I'll manage." They had no idea that at night, behind my locked bedroom door, I was finalizing a Singapore expansion deal and rehearsing the speech that would redefine me forever. The contrast was almost laughable. To them, I was still the plain older sister. To the world, I was about to become a headline. 1 week, just 7 days stood between me and the moment I'd reclaim my narrative. The Malibu estate glittered under the sun, draped in roses and silk. Guests mingled, glasses clinking, laughter carrying across the lawn. I stood in my gown, radiant and calm, though my heart beat like a drum. Michael squeezed my hand. "You're ready for this," he whispered. The ceremony was beautiful, almost enough to make me forget the storm brewing. We exchanged vows, and for a moment all I saw was Michael's steady gaze, full of love and pride. But the real performance began at the reception. My father took the stage, offering a speech that pretended to be kind, but was filled with sharp jabs at my ordinary life. Then the screen lit up. I held my breath. Instead of embarrassing childhood photos, the montage unfolded with sleek visuals. My company's milestones, international projects, and finally, the headline, Chen Global Consulting secures groundbreaking merger. Gasps filled the room. People whispered, turning to me with wide eyes. "That's her company," someone asked. Sophie's face drained of color. She looked like she'd swallowed poison. Still, she had one card left to play. As I stepped onto the stage, she tugged at the hidden string on my dress. I felt the outer layer fall away, but instead of leaving me exposed, it revealed the breathtaking gown beneath. The crowd erupted in cheers. I began my speech, weaving together gratitude, love for Michael, and the truth of my hidden journey. My voice was steady, carrying across the room with the weight of years unspoken. "You see, being underestimated can be a gift," I told the guests. "It gave me the freedom to grow without expectation. And today I stand before you not as the ordinary girl my family once described, but as a woman who built her own path." At that moment, the journalist approached Marcus, questioning him loudly about his past misdeeds. Guests murmured in disapproval, and Marcus slinked out, exposed. By the time I finished, the applause was thunderous. My parents sat frozen, faces pale with humiliation. Sophie stormed out, unable to face the whispers. Michael raised his glass to Emily, my wife, my partner, and the strongest person I know. The toast echoed through the hall, sealing my victory. Later that night, when the music faded and the guests departed, Michael and I sat together under the stars. The Malibu waves crashed in the distance, but all I felt was peace. "I'm proud of you," he whispered. For the first time, I truly felt proud of myself, too. The next morning, my parents attempted a half-hearted apology, but I shook my head. "Until you see me for who I really am, we need distance." My voice was calm, final. Sophie's downfall was swift. Word of her cruelty spread, and clients pulled away. I almost pitied her, but I had learned not to waste compassion on those who thrived on tearing others down. Meanwhile, my company's reveal went viral. Investors poured in, and my name became synonymous with resilience. On our honeymoon in Italy, I finalized the Singapore deal over espresso and sunshine, laughing with Michael about how far I'd come. Back home, I donated my sabotaged dress to charity, transforming what was meant to shame me into a symbol of hope for someone else. But the most fulfilling moment came when I visited a mentorship program for young entrepreneurs. Standing before them, I shared my story, not the glamour, but the struggles, the underestimation, the betrayal, and the triumph. "People may underestimate you," I told them, "but that only makes your success more powerful. Don't let cruelty define you. Rise above it with integrity, and you'll find strength you never knew you had." As their faces lit up with inspiration, I realized I didn't need my family's approval. I had created my own family, Michael, Clara, my team, and the community I now hoped to inspire.